This is what happens when you actually activate your hamstrings. Most sprinters lift their knee and let their foot get away from them, so they never grab the track using their hamstrings. That is why you're slow. But don't worry, in the next 20 minutes, I'll teach you how to fix your form and finally activate your hamstrings so that you're not slow anymore. So this is before hamstring engagement. You see how that foot really gets away from him. So what are elite sprinters doing that we are not doing? I don't know if you could hear. I'll rewind it. Listen closely. His coach screams, "Come on, hamstrings, let's go. Come on, hamstrings, let's go." There it is. Let's look at his starting block form. We have shoulders over hands. Look how close this front knee is to the line. It's basically on top of that line. The back is flat. Okay, chin relaxed to the chest. Come on. There it is. Now stay with me. We're going to unpack this and understand what these elite sprinters are doing. And to that point, what are they working on? You assume the best of the best. What are they thinking about? What are they working on that we may not be? And spoiler alert, it's the activation of their hamstring. It's the way that they attack the track using their hamstring. They claw the ground to propel force forward using their hamstring. So one of my clients, we've been working diligently at understanding what this hamstring, grabbing the track with our hamstring means. So I've chosen this drill because it really shows the mistake. It highlights this key area for him, which has been a problem that we've been working to fix. So he's doing straight leg bounds here. So straight leg bound with a cadence of 1, 2, 3 cycle, 1, 2, 3 cycle. So look at the cycle. The right leg comes through. Boom. He totally loses that foot out in front of him. So it's almost like he's flicking the foot. Flick. This is a very quad dominant movement. And what we're learning today is how to engage our hamstring in order to provide power into the track. Look at how much it's like he's kicking a ball. Kick. And then there's not really much to come back underneath him. He loses his foot in that moment. We started with straight leg bounds, which really are his weak point. I know this. It's much easier when you have a bit of rhythm behind you. So for this drill, he's doing normal run for 20 meters and then using hands on hips to continue his acceleration for 30 meters. Now I've got a ton of problems with the way he starts this drill, but then watch the transformation when he goes hands on hips. Hands on hips really reinforces the fact that you can't get away with not engaging your hammies on the way down and not grabbing the track, pulling the track beneath you to create power. And it's obvious because when he uses his arms, it's actually not good form. We'll go over why that is a bit later. But as soon as his hands go on his hips, he's forced to correct his form. His posture is correct. Look at this swing through here. Look at that right. Remember that right leg we had during straight leg bounds? Not straight anymore on the cycle through. And actually it's coming back under him. He's grabbing the track by engaging his hamstrings. Now, this was after a ton of drills that we did. So I will show you how to do all of this. Let's listen in on the coach's secret here.
You see what? Now the hamstring rip. Because if you don't pull the hamstring, what's going to happen? The toe's going to get away and the shin ankle's going to go up.
I wasn't quite sure what they were discussing there. I knew he said hamstring rip. I made assumptions, but I didn't know. Noah Lyles is here discussing exactly what they meant by this.
So today we had blocks coupled with a little bit of speed bounds. Speed bounds was really just to kind of get that energy of pulling back into the track. Lately, I've been having good block sessions, but I'm still trying to break the habit of just placing my foot down and really trying to get my foot to pull back into the track to get that power. So that's what those are for. It definitely worked as we got towards the end of the workout. There's a few cues that we went through. Coach B was talking about using your hamstring to pull back onto the track, and I think that's really what helped me out today.
Okay, that in essence is what we're discussing and what we're going over is how do you do that? How do you engage your hamstring to pull the track back underneath you to provide force moving forward? Okay, I have a quick question for you all. Can you actively engage your hamstring, whether you're sitting or standing right now? Are you able to engage your hamstring? I'm sitting here. I can engage the right hamstring. I can engage the left hamstring. I can feel under my desk my foot wanting to pull me forward. Go ahead and answer in the comments. Are you able to do this? I pose this question because I don't want to concern you if you're not able to do this. Don't worry about it. I don't think it's that easy of a concept to grasp. And the reason I don't think that is because I challenged 3 separate athletes this week to engage their hamstring, and they could not do it on their first try. There's definitely some experience there that's going to help you with this concept. But I just pose that question to you because as a coach who used to run at a high level, I didn't understand that this was as big of an issue as it is. Like when I saw the video with Noah Lyles and his coach, it instantly made sense. And it was instantly something that I wanted to go out to the track and try. But I didn't assume that my athletes would not be able to do this. But here we are discussing it because they did not know how to do that. Here we go. Fairly simple. You have your hamstring back here in the back of your leg. You have your quad in front of your leg, and most people are quad dominant. So we just went over the difference between the hammies and the quads. And so the quad dominant people are going to actually, when they cycle through, flick their foot out in an attempt to then pull it back, but they're going to be pulling back with their glutes, as opposed to if this is my quad and these are my hamstrings, when I cycle up here, I'm going to pull back with my hamstring that's going to grab the track and continue my cycles. There's the flick. That is the quad dominance. That is the hip dominance, and not necessarily using his hamstrings correctly. The important thing here is that you have your glutes up here, right? Your glutes initiate this powerful force into the ground. They are maybe the largest muscle, I believe, and the strongest muscle, but it's your hamstrings that are the engine, that are the reaction of snapping down into the track, pulling, clawing the track. That comes from your hamstrings. If you're late or you're lazy in your hamstring engagement, you lose force, you lose speed, you lose timing. You don't have to guess how to do this. If you're struggling with engaging your hamstring and understanding what a full cycle and clawing the ground looks like, you're not going to think about it and then end up doing it. There are drills that are going to help you with that. When you do these drills, and then when you finally move into the next drills that I'm going to show you, I want you to picture your foot grabbing the track like a claw and pulling the track behind you. That's the activation you need to create forward moving force. So this is a simple drill, something you've probably seen in some elementary style track camps or programs. And I'm actually, again, learning more as we go that possibly I haven't been coaching this well enough, nor had I been doing them well enough when I was the competitive athlete that I was. So you'll see here with my athlete, he's trying to get the concept of hammy activation, but he's getting stuck. You see, these are not full cycles. We'll go ahead and just play that full, right? You see his core dipping and doing, that was a good one. There was like one good one. So you see him change his body position right here, right? The cue that I gave him is to be strong in his core and keep his eyes up. Actually, I didn't say anything about the eyes. I told him to be strong in his core, and he instantly changed his position to put his eyes where he wants to go, right? Which I understand this is a drill, but theoretically, this is going to be down the track at the finish line. It changed everything about his posture, and then his ability to cycle became easier. Look at the difference in the height of his knee when he changes his form, right? Look at that knee. Well, that wasn't fair. Look at that knee. You see how he has to almost stop and re-lift his knee in order for it to work well. But now that he changed his posture, that knee snaps up. Okay, so this is just a drill. He was one of the athletes who I asked if he can engage his hamstrings and struggled with that, as you can see in this drill. Here you have it, B skips, right? Easy enough. I think a few people are familiar with B skips, and you could imagine this is a great drill for that hamstring activation. So what I'm looking for is knee up, extend out, fire the hamstring to drive that foot back underneath you, just like he did there. There we go, just like he did there. This athlete picked it up fairly quickly, although in the beginning he struggled. Ah, yes, straight leg bounds. We did this a little bit with my other client I showed you. So I want to see him pulling through using his hamstring. It looks like he's doing that fairly well. Okay, so we got single leg bounds here. The concept is the same. Knee comes up, and then when you cycle underneath yourself, you're using your hamstring to pull that leg through. Now, this is more of an advanced style of hamstring activation and actually advanced plyometrics, but he is a triple jumper, a long jumper, as well as a sprinter. So it's important for him to learn. It's actually important for all sprinters to learn how to bound and single leg bound as well. So that's one way to do it. That's one drill. That's the other leg. This is actually very nice single leg bound. So we'll look at this again. Using his arms. Look at that cycle, and that foot is not just not waiting for the ground to land. It's attacking the ground by hammy engagement. This actually is not so good now that I'm seeing it in slow motion. It does look as though he's falling onto this foot, and that thigh, it's not quite getting where I'd like it to go. But we just started training, so it's stuff for us to fix. There we go. One of my favorites, alternate leg bounds. Once again, first of all, this kid's like 6'5" or something like that, but he's a beast with his bounding. Look at that. Now that's active engagement on the ground. Now that's active engagement using his hamstrings to attack the ground. Look at that. Now the foot comes back underneath using his hamstring. Back underneath using his hamstring. Shoo. And it just springs him. Look at that. That one was very clear. So let's look at this alternate leg bound, right? The knee comes up. Look at that. That's picture perfect right there. That's what I ask for all my bounds. I need to be able to snap a picture just like this of you in the air. Again, this is something that should not be overlooked by any sprinter, any jumper, really any explosive athlete. And then that foot doesn't get away from him. He engages his hammy to swing it back through. Engages the hammy to swing it back through. Those are good. So here's what I wanted to cover about this client of mine. I want you to watch his form as he's getting into his floating section. So again, this drill is sprinting for 20 meters regular, and then for 30 meters, hands on hips, continue your sprint. Now look at the body posture here. Look at how he's sitting back. He's actually reaching and doing a bit of the opposite of what we're working on. But that's normal. Again, if you've seen my overthinking video, then you understand that what he's doing is we just worked on a ton of form things. So he's thinking about his form and he's over exaggerating a lot of things in order to try to replicate the form, which is fine. But the beauty of this drill is once his hands go on his hips, everything is going to change. So let's back it up just a little bit, actually. So look at the posture. Look at how he's sitting back. Listen to the cadence. Listen to his breaths. He's quite focused and trying too hard. And then as soon as his hands go on his hips, the only way he can maintain the hamstring engagement is by putting himself in a proper position. So he's doing this drill. He's leaning back. Hands go on the hips. You can't use your arms anymore to compensate to the reason he's leaning back is his arms shoot too far up forward and don't drive back enough hard enough. So we eliminate the arms completely and watch his body Watch his body position change into optimal shoulders forward in order to maintain this hamstring engagement. Okay, so you hear the grunting in his breaths, really trying hard to maintain. And then let's watch. Hands on hips, breath comes down, and that chain is just flowing together. Okay, so look at that. He's trying to do the drill, but is ultimately ending up reaching. His foot gets away from him. Remember, our foot doesn't want to get away from us. And then he puts his hands on his hips, and look at that. Those feet are no longer getting away from him. His body position has changed. He's striking underneath his hips. He's attacking. He's grabbing the track, clawing the track using his hamstrings. So that's a perfect drill to learn how to do this well. Okay, so we're going to go back to the professionals, right? Because this isn't just some theory that I thought of. I literally learned it from Noah Lyle's coach. So this is something that the best in the world are working on. It has already transformed a ton of the athletes that I train and changed how I train myself personally. So we're watching this again just to show you that the best in the world are working on this. And so it's not going to be so easy to just figure out and pick up. I understand that, but it is something that you should pay attention to. If the best in the world are working on it, then there's probably a good chance that we need to work on it also. And the reason it's important to harp on this point from the very beginning of your race, from the start, rather than just when you're standing upright, is what you do in the start just kind of sets up the rest of your race. So when you're in your dry phase and you're able to extend right arms separation, knee separation, and then engage your hammy to pull the track, to grab the track rather than just putting your foot down and pushing, it's going to set you up for when you stand up to do the same thing, to cycle over, grab the track, rather than let that foot hit straight underneath us and push. So I slowed this down here. Got a nice clean set. Boom, great reaction time. Okay. Nice. Now look at Noah's left leg comes through, and then right now it's snapping back. Right leg comes through, snapping back. Left leg, snap. Right leg. Again, all through hamstring activation. Okay, now compare the efficiency and tightness of the foot to butt angle compared to his training partner, who I believe is his brother, but I'm not really sure. Boom. Okay, right here you see the training partner to the left of him as he's driving. He's already kind of, so you see that foot gets a little bit away and now it's in front and now it's kind of hitting in front of him almost. Whereas Noah's still kind of snapping back down. And then, as I said, it sets up the rest of your race. Okay, now I hope you were able to see the changes from when you are pulling and not just pushing. Once he got this concept down, look at the difference in the way that he begins this drill, and then look at the effortlessness of the drill as he's doing it. So that's a much different start than what we just saw. You can see how much better that chain is connected, right? The best in the world are working on this, and it's not a gimmick. It's not a trick that's instantly going to improve your speed, but it will have significant improvement as you continue to develop this and continue to work on this.